COVID-19 is having a big impact on migration. Nigeria is not an exception, and there is a need to monitor and manage migrants at this period. Joining me to discuss this is Chief of Mission, International Organization of Migration, Franz Celestin. Thank you for joining us on TVC News.
Thank you for having me.
Now, let's begin with measures taken by countries across the world. Talk about lockdowns, travel bans, and social distancing. How has this impacted migrants?
Well, the mere fact that countries have closed their borders reduced the flow of people across borders. Both be it regular migration, so that means people that go to the regular border processes, be it irregular migration, those who go to the informal international borders. So we've seen a drastic reduction of people on the move, and also a reduction of people migrating for various purposes.
Now, there are concerns that, or rather projections, that these could affect global trends, economic migration and remittances. How so?
Well, there are a lot of, for remittances, first of all, simply because there are a lot of people who are not working. A lot of countries, because of the lockdown, they put in place, people are staying at home, they're not working. We could see a drastic reduction in remittances flow because those who used to send money home are now in difficulties of providing it for their families and to pay the bills. So we could see a drastic reduction in remittances, specifically because there'll be recessions in many different countries.
So how should countries begin to handle this now, talking about an all-inclusive response?
Right. So what should not happen? Countries should not use this as a means to restrict the movement of people. I think regular migration, if regulated, benefits everybody. So what we should do now is to build back better, to encourage migration, to encourage the proper and regular migration. But also countries need to build the port health infrastructure so that when something like this happens, and it's not going to be if, it's when, so that they can mitigate the effect and mitigate the impact and mitigate the spread of it within different countries. So the comprehensive approach would be an effective border management system, an effective port health and disease surveillance system, and also addressing the social economic side effects of COVID-19. So government needs to put packages in place that allow the people to get back on their feet. I envision some rescue packages to look after the people so that they can provide for themselves, also reduce their vulnerability so they are not susceptible to traffickers and smugglers.
Now, let's talk about migrants who are stranded. What kind of support should governments of countries where they find themselves, what kind of support should those governments give to them?
Well, migrants are humans, and whenever a human is in distress, the governments, where the migrants are supposed to provide support to them, provide the necessary shelter, and also food. But we've seen a lot of the governments, including the Nigerian government, evacuating their own citizens. IOM has been assisting a number of governments in doing that. We've had conversations with the different MDAs on even migrants, Nigerian migrants that are stranded in neighboring countries. For example, in Niger and Mali, IOM throughout the region is working with a number of countries to do the same. So it's host countries providing support to make sure that the migrants don't fall under the prey, don't fall prey to these criminal elements, and then countries evacuating their own citizens when necessary. And IOM, of course, is there to provide the support to them.
Your final thoughts on this issue now?
Well, I think it's important, the first group that is affected when something like this happens, when there's an economic downturn, when there's an epidemic, is the migrants. Migrants are usually at the forefront. If you see some of the best doctors responding to COVID in Germany and the UK, they're migrants, they're Nigerians. They come from all over the planet. So the migrants, they are part and parcel of society, and they are an effective member of society. Usually, the migrants' needs are not addressed, or they may be blamed for certain problems. But what we have seen, what the data shows, is that migrants are usually at the forefront of whatever is happening. Be it an economic downturn, they are the ones pushing the economy forward. When there's a pandemic such as this, they are the one at the front line. They are the first responders. So migrants are an integral part of society. We should celebrate them. Thank you.
All right, Franz Celestin, Chief of Mission, International Organization of Migration. Thank you so much for speaking with us.